the world champions, of course, and this is their team. Wellens, Stewart, Iro, Newlove, Sullivan, Sculthorpe, and they will be delighted at the return of Tommy Martin. The forwards, Nicol, Cunningham, Matautia, Joint, Hoppy and Stankovic. So there's no David Furley. His wife is expecting a baby, and Shields, I'm afraid he has had a family bereavement. The substitutes, Yonkers, Hall, Hyam and Edmondson. The coach is Ian Millward. Now the Hull side, Prescott at fullback, Smith, Campbell, Bird, Rayner, Horn and Jason Smith moves to scrum half. The forwards, Craven, Tony Smith at hooker, Lee Jackson's out for the season, Felsh, Carvel, Logan and Grimaldi is the loose forward and captain. And on the bench, Maiden, Crowther, Broadbent and Cook. And the coach, formerly, of course, the St Helens mentor, Sean McRae. Match referee is Stuart Cummings. He's making his way to the middle. Hull on the right side of a 1-point victory last week. Prescott's drop goal crucial against Halifax 27-26. The Saints on the wrong end of a 1-point defeat last week. Andy Farrell's drop goal giving Wigan victory 29-28. But Tommy Martin has returned to the St Helens fold. He has been out for the last 9 since the Challenge Cup final. What a place to make his return. Steve Prescott, formerly of St Helens, makes the kick-off. Underneath it, immediately Hull there on the charge with Logan Campbell. That was a good kick-off. It hung and gave Hull the opportunity to get the early possession. And this is danger for St Helens from the kick-off with Jason Smith. Jason Smith, the man who makes Hull tick. Gets to his feet. In there at dummy half was Scott Logan, actually it was at that stage. This now is Grimaldi. Oh, and that was a pass to Newlove, an interception. And has Newlove got the legs? I think he has, because he's beating Chris Smith. Chris Smith in hot pursuit. St Helens, though, over for a try. Gifted them from nothing. Paul Newlove with the try, an interception, and not the start that Sean McRae would have wanted. Well, well, Paul Newlove, 13 tries now in 15 Super League appearances, in wonderful form, but that was gift-wrapped.
Well, it was a wonderful kick-off that saw Hull take possession. They were applying the pressure, and the offload there from Tony Smith, straight into the arms of the big fella. Newlove at all the speed, and rather surprisingly, Chris Smith could make nothing on him. Well, this is absolutely sensational start. He was going out to his halfback partner, Richard Horn, but before Horn could get to it, this fella snatches it away. The king poacher, Newlove. Saints off to a wonderful start.
Interesting here, Paul Sculthorpe taking the conversion attempt, even though Tommy Martin is back from his hernia operation. Still a little bit sore, I understand, after the surgeon's knife. So Sculthorpe continues, and he finds the mark here. That's the conversion. St Helens with a try in the 48th second from Newlove, converted by Paul Sculthorpe. It's 6-0.
Well, it's amazing what an intercept can do to a game. The home fans here were expecting an onslaught. As I mentioned, a beautiful kick. They beat Wellens to the jump. Ian Millward would be quite happy with the opening gambit. Newlove is one of the best poachers in the game. And that was superb. But I think the most surprising thing about that, Eddie, was the way that Newlove just sprinted away and Chris Smith couldn't get anywhere near him.
Yes, he didn't take anything back on him, that is for sure. Here is Sean Hoppy now, the New Zealander, playing in the second row this evening. As I said at the start of the programme, David Furley, his wife expecting a baby today. He's been excused the trip here to Hull. And Peter Shields, sad news overnight, his father-in-law passed away in Australia, and he and his wife are on the journey home.
A bit of loss to the Saints side, but also the big question mark has to be hanging over the hooker, Kieran Cunningham. Went through a fitness test just 1 hour before the kickoff. He passed it, but I must say, Eddie, he's got to go into this game less than 100% fit.
A high kick from Tommy Martin. Underneath it was Chris Smith, formerly with St Helens during his career. And making a decent little run before being cut down by Wellens. Here now is Richard Horne, joint with the tackle.
Big night for the youngster Richard Horne. Really can make a name for himself against the world champion St Helens. Looks like a blood bin.
Yes, Vila Matautia is on his way to the blood bin.
Nothing
That
wrong
was
with
a
it.
fairly high tackle from Stankovic, I thought, on Craven.
Well, to be fair, Eddie, I think he just got onto the shoulders first. Bit of an awkward attempt. There's a claret just rolling down the left here.
Time on, third tackle.
And it's Mark Edmondson who's come on to replace Vila Matautia, who's in the blood bin.
And wait.
We're on the fourth tackle, as you heard Stuart Cummings tell us then. Jason Smith passes the ball inside, but no way through here for Scott Logan.
You mentioned the fact that St Helens without Fairley and Shields, but even then, they still have a pretty solid pack. Touch Judge quite happy with the late attempt. Sculthorpe it was on the fullback Steve Prescott.
Yes, he didn't make much effort to charge it down, just charged Prescott down.
Well, to be fair, he had committed himself. Nothing untowards, just went in with the shoulder. Once you've committed yourself, you're all right. That'll be a knock on.
Oh, the referee blows the whistle. Jason Smith was away.
It was a knock on. Smith definitely got a fingertip to it. It hit the ground. You'll see it here. Bang, that's it. A bit slow there. Kieran Cunningham just got caught trying to get the short ball away to Sean Hoppy.
The whole supporters thought that it was Cunningham who had made the knock on. Tommy Martin to Sculthorpe, and then on it goes to Iro. Tracked all across the ground he was then by Logan Campbell. This is the way it looks head to head between these two sides. And here at the Boulevard, Hull just holding sway since 1973, 10 victories to 8. And this now is Sonny Nicol on the halfway line for the Saints. Cunningham gives it to Matautia, back on the field after that stint in the blood bin, and a knock on. It bounced forward before it was retained by Nicol.
Bit of a wasted effort there from the big fella, Vila Matautia, just throwing the ball anywhere.
Came off the chest of Stankovic, says the referee, and went forward.
Bit of a dodgy call there from Cummings.
There's the confirmation that the blood bin has been reversed. This is Richard Horne. Away from Sculthorpe, not away from Hoppy and Iro, the New Zealand combination.
Good job there. Hoppy dropped him because he put his arm in between the legs. You're not allowed to do that.
And between the legs, which one? Sean.
And a little bit of a warning on the run for Sean Hoppy. Again, playing in a rather unaccustomed role in the second row. And that is illegal.
Where's that come from?
Though he pulled out of the tackle. And rightly so, the officials brought it to the attention. The touch has brought it attention to Stuart Cummings. Now a great opportunity for Hull.
Yes, a good kick from the penalty. Here is Tony Smith. He helped it on to Luke Felsh. And Felsh will drive it in, but there's the first tackle. It was completed by Joint and Nicol, and Joint too slow, getting up off the grounded player.
Well, I applaud this attitude, and over the last couple of weeks, we've seen all the referees in Super League. They are going to stamp this out by hook or by crook. Chris Joint, you could see, was all over the man.
And it's a big night for Chris Joint. 87th consecutive appearance, a new club record. The previous one stood from 1929. 87 consecutive appearances. And he was doubtful all week as well.
Yeah, there's rumours going around that Chris Joint failed to train throughout the week. He was obviously thinking of rather just his teammates rather than the record. I can assure you he's that type of guy.
He missed the Irish international as well midweek. He would have been a certainty for that.
Solid as a rock though, Chris Joint.
Prescott here gets Hull rolling. That's important for them. Prescott's boot gives Hull FC 2 points and the Saints have 6.
Well, just pegging away. Sean McRae will be quite happy. The 2 points accepted. And Tommy Martin wanted to get on with a quick kick-off. He was holding the football so that Sculthorpe perhaps could come onto it and kick it very, very quickly before Hull got back. Referee Stuart Cummings wouldn't have any of it. Only kick off when he blows the whistle. taken a bit of an eternity to bring out the kicking tee or the sand, as Sculthorpe. Old-fashioned, isn't he?
Yes, Paul Sculthorpe is of the old-fashioned school. It is a mountain of sand, as you can see, not the plastic tee.
Well, this is one place on the Humber River where you can get plenty of that.
Right, no penalties.
The kick-off drilled all along the deck. It bounces off the knees. Here's Felsch to drive it in first tackle. He receives it from Nicol and Matautia. Matautia has missed the last 4 as well. He had 40 minutes of an 18 game in midweek. Here's Grimaldi. Grimaldi taking on Hoppy.
You can expect that from the loose forward, Tony Grimaldi, even though they'll be interchanging with Tony Smith that's playing the hooking role. Grimaldi will be running from dummy half.
Yes, he operated at dummy half and the hooking role for a while in the Australian Grand Final for Canterbury once upon a time. Here is a chance. This is a great run from Gareth Carvell, and he's got support from Tony Smith.
Oh, classic to Nicol.
Straight into the arms of Nicol. There must have been a shout from Nicol, surely.
But that is great defence.
The referee's got the penalty. He allowed play on and the advantage. Saw something in back play.
Someone must have been taken out.
Yes,
held back.
Pulled back is the referee's signal.
Tommy!
Well, that was a wonderful break.
He's not going to sin bin because
Got forward Luke Felsch.
Tommy's pulled him back on the outside.
And he showed a lot of pace there. Good support play. And Smith in desperation. Little doubt in my mind that Sonny Nicol shouted for the football.
Gareth Carvell with a smashing run. And down the touchline, Chris Smith was being pulled back by Tommy Martin. And the ball came this way. That's why Mr. Martin is not spending a little time in the sin bin, according to Stuart Cummings. But he must have called Sonny Nicol.
Of course he did.
Tony Smith, looks as though he's all right to continue.
And Sonny Nicol would have used a Yorkshire accent. That's probably the reason why.
So Grimaldi restarts, finds Richard Horne. Here is Luke Felsch. Felsch driving it in. Stankovic stood his ground with help from Matautia. Grimaldi's there again. Dummy half to Richard Horne. Short ball. Carvell again.
Pretty slack defence from St Helens. They're very slow in and around the play the ball area.
In the end, they shut the door. This is Jason Smith. Good ball.
Ooh, that looked forward.
Prescott still, and he got in the way then of Scott Logan, or Scott Logan got in his way.
I think he got it right that way around. Prescott was on his way to the line. Logan got in the middle.
This is Horne, tries to step inside. Stankovic gets the ball away to Felsch. Is Felsch over?
No, it's short.
Short of the line.
What a tackle from Paul Wellens.
Tackle count is wiped down though. They have 6 to go.
Forward a mile.
Forward from Grimaldi to Jason Smith. It's right at that end, and Sean McRae had the perfect view of it. And it certainly looked forward from this angle.
No little doubt in it.
And it looks forward from that angle too.
Any angle. Well, they fully deserved that. The approach work was superb from Hull. And this St Helens defence is falling apart, I'm afraid. Well, they still hold the 4-point lead. And that was a dodgy pass from Ville Matautia, right on his own line.
Wellens hangs on to it though. Matautia dummy half. Here's Sculthorpe. Bullet pass to Iro, and the big fella's away. He's got Steve Prescott to beat. He's taking him on the outside. That's a great tackle from Rayner.
Was it pushed out from Rayner?
Well, Iro is complaining it is, but the referee and touch judge say not so.
And he's right. Just the impact of the tackle. I would have thought Rayner, because Rayner's going down.
Here we go.
He goes for the tackle, drags on the arm. He definitely does not deliberately go for the football, and Iro just loses possession. That's a big call, and the right call from the touch judge.
Dion Bird now for Hull. Dion Bird, the next try for him will be his 50th in Super League, having played for Paris Saint-Germain and Gateshead. Prescott, it was a ball that just dropped in front of Richard Horne. He had the job on to collect it. Grimaldi now to Steve Craven. Craven drives the ball forward. Grimaldi again at dummy half, and even though Tony Smith here with the football named as hooker, it is Grimaldi who's taking charge of the dummy half position. And it's play on that because it went backwards. This is Smith, Jason Smith, Grimaldi, good hands to Felsch. That's 4 tackles gone.
Good play from Hull, spinning in the tackle. Good support as well.
Richard Horne once more
That
forward,
was forward.
but Saints have it back anyway.
Straight in the arms of Newlove.
Well, I think Newlove should have a black and white jersey on. They passed to him twice. Sullivan.
And it was the impact there.
Steve Craven.
Richard Horne got the impact. The ball was always going to go forward. Steve Craven is the culprit. And the pressure is off yet again.
Here we go.
Well, it's good to see that the officials now clamping down, should I say, on the messing around at the play of the ball. If they do it early, the message gets through to the players, and the viewers get a far better game.
Nicol, he does well to release that as he fell. Matautia carries it on. Huge man is Vila Matautia. It takes 3 Hull defenders to bring him down.
Steve, come on.
Cunningham to Martin. He helps it wide to Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe then takes them on himself. Quick play the ball. Hoppy, short of the line. Stankovic waits at dummy half, and he'll spin it to Tommy Martin, and Tommy Martin will pop it back to Nicol, who will give it then to Stankovic, and Stankovic will give it to Cunningham, and Cunningham fancies his own chances, backed himself, took the tackle. He is now 3 metres short of the line. Martin again, on the charge is Sculthorpe, and he's over!
There.
He's over, is Sculthorpe!
This will be given.
Well, not yet. It's up to the video referee now.
We're just checking the grounding.
He just wants the grounding checked, but the St Helens fans behind the posts thinks this is a try.
It is. On the whitewash is sufficient. This will be TRY, no problem whatsoever. I might get my house back here.
Yes. Yeah, you gave it away last night, all right.
Fill up the swimming pool.
Yes, turn the tap on.
Put the togs on. I'm in.
Tries given to Paul Sculthorpe in wonderful form this year, and that is the 60th try of Paul Sculthorpe's career.
Well, a typical example of how you come onto the ball at full speed, and he certainly did that. Really has taken charge of this St Helens side, with so many of the stars being absent. One of those coming back today, Tommy Martin, but Sculthorpe. What a great effort. Little wonder he was the player of the month.
And he got a try here last year in a 28-20 victory, by the way. Sculthorpe, he scored the try, and Sculthorpe now has added the extras. It's 12-2, and St Helens, despite losing 2 more big guns today, have made a great start.
Well, they were good in a good position, and the build-up to that was quite excellent. We saw for quite a few moments at Hull, spinning in the tackle. A great example of St Helens doing exactly the same. Worried look on the face of Sean McRae. He knows the quality of this guy, Paul Sculthorpe. He just gets better and better as the weeks go on, Eddie.
He does. And he was playing at loose forward before Sean Long, Tommy Martin got injured. Now he's playing at standoff, which would be his best position because he's in fantastic form. It's a little conundrum that maybe David Waite, the Great Britain coach, will have to answer come the end of the year.
Well, I'm sure that he has been looking at that position. It always has been a problem for us over the years.
Cunningham.
Such a hard man to get down, even though he's not 100%. Even he'll admit that.
Brilliant play from Cunningham. He got the ball away to Wellens. He had about 4 or 5 snapping at his heels then.
And talking of Sculthorpe, you know, the way that he's handled things, to me, surely he's got to be a future captain. He's handled everything superbly. Calmed things down.
St Helens have the penalty here for offside against Hull.
Now then, will Saints put on one of their set moves? They'll drive it in first.
With Matautia.
Now then, will they do the switch to the blind? I've seen Tommy Martin come into the play. Not all that much as yet.
Here's Sculthorpe. Showed it to Stankovic, gave it to Iro. Good tackle by Dion Bird. Anthony Stewart fancies his own chances again. He's over the line, but he's held up and pushed back.
Good work by Bird again, and Rayner.
Iro dummy half this time. Here's Sculthorpe. He'll hoist the kick out wide. And this is for Anthony Sullivan, but Chris Smith claims it brilliantly.
What a take! Went up like a bird. An early bird. That was absolutely superb there by Chris Smith. It was an awkward kick. There was no one else going to get to it but him.
Luke Felch with a drive in for Hull. Great take from Chris Smith. Smith, of course, formerly with St Helens. And now a little break on here. And Rayner, fed by Carbell. Rayner, well, he didn't fancy his chances.
He should have gone for it. It would have been touch and go, 50-50. Wellens was coming across, but the hesitation allowed Wellens to get there.
They have the man on the overlap. That's great defence from Tommy Martin. Penalty though. St Helens were all offside.
Good play by the referee. Allowed the advantage. Forthcoming, of course. Now then, they'll take this penalty again, surely. And the St Helens players have to get over that white line.
And there's nothing to stop Jason Smith taking a quick tap there. But St Helens prevented him from doing so. Here's Craven.
Hey, tackle one! Stand out, stand out!
Now then, what will Jason Smith come up with now?
Well, Grimaldi's at dummy half. Felch is inside him. And Felch, well, before he moved, Mark Edmondson was all over him. Big test of this St Helens defence. Grimaldi is over.
Simple try. He fooled Nicol.
He fooled everybody. Tony Grimaldi, his try against Wakefield sealed a 30 points to 22 win. Tip to go home at the end of this year. The Bulldogs want him back. The Hull captain.
Selected a loose forward, but playing in the hooking role. And that's the reason why Sean McRae has selected Grimaldi. This was a run from Gareth Rayner. He hesitated, tried to come back. He was nailed by Wellens, but there, a simple effort, but well spotted. Nicol just hesitated, held back rather than getting into his face. And Grimaldi, that's the reason why Sean McRae put him there. That's a vital try. They're back in the game.
Tony Grimaldi, Gateshead and Hull, only 26 years of age, and were next year. Well, a question that will be answered in the next couple of months, I'm sure. Steve Prescott then with the opportunity, enjoying some of his best form of his career is Prescott, and kicking responsibly too. It's 8 points to 12. Hull are fighting back.
Nicol, you can see there, should have shifted in right into the face of Grimaldi. He didn't, he hesitated. And look at that. There's a gap. There's a try. Simple, but effective.
Stay behind, fellas.
Well, Grimaldi just dropped the left shoulder, and the gap opened up for him. And he took full advantage of that. Well, they've not beaten St Helens, have Hull, since December 1993. It was 18-14 here. And two men of the past, Desi Hasler and James Grant, two Australians, got a couple apiece. Meanwhile, here is a mistake in goal by Luke Felch.
And it's a bad one too, with the drop out underneath the sticks. Very warm out there, the sun shining, which is good to see on the coast here. It can get bitterly cold.
Not so today. Lovely summer's evening, and Nicol is greeted by Campbell and Carbell.
It'll take its toll as well, because there's got to be a penalty. His call held. The Hull fans don't like it, but once the official has shouted held, you cannot interfere. And you can see that Campbell wanted to finish him off. Looked impressive, but it's cost vital meters forward. It looks like Sculthorpe can have a goal on this one.
Yes, he is. He's just indicated to the referee that he fancies his chances, and he's fully 40 meters out, but almost in centre field. So maybe that's why Paul Sculthorpe feels that he can increase the Saints' lead. The message might have got out from Ian Millwood, the coach. Remember last week, of course, in the epic against Wigan, Sculthorpe had a penalty in the closing moments that would have won the match for the Saints, but he missed with that particular penalty. Now here he has the opportunity to prove that he can score from this range as well. And he's pushed it wide again, but the important thing is he's got it dead. And St Helens will get the ball back from a drop kick on the 20-metre line.
That just indicates the respect that this St Helens outfit has for the Hull side.
You give me no option when you do that.
Millwood, the Saints coach, quite happy to send a message out that they needed to go for the goal. 2 points will certainly help. This is going to be a tight one.
It is.
I just can't see either side running away with this game.
Here we go. No penalty.
Well, it depends how that heat you've been talking about and the humidity here at Hull tonight, how it affects the injured players. And there are plenty of broken players in Super League 6 at the moment. Tony Smith, one of them, he's been taken off. He needs a bit of ice on the back of the neck. We'll get news in a moment after we see this with Sculthorpe out to Newlove, and Newlove, well, he tried to get away.
Richard Horn hanging on. Shully's there. What a great tackle there. Super stop from Prescott.
He was plonking it down. Martin dabs it through with the left foot. Jason Smith gets a hand to it and snuffs the danger out.
Neat kick. Good effort though by Jason Smith. It was bobbling all over the place.
Offside now, St Helens. Right, let's get the news then, shall we, of Tony Smith. Phil Arthur has details on the sideline.
Well, Tony Smith did get that big knock to the head earlier on in the game and has carried on for the last 10 minutes or so, but he's been feeling very groggy and a bit sick in the process of that, and they've decided to take him off. And you can see, I don't know whether the heat has got something to do with it as well, because it is very warm out there, and Tony Smith definitely very groggy indeed.
Okay, let's hope that Tony Smith can return.
Big blow to the Hull side.
Here's Dion Bird. Good tackle from Kevin Iro. Not completed now, it is.
Should have been penalised, had a second go at it.
Well, the referee said he wasn't tackled first time.
No penalties.
Here's Grimaldi. Jason Smith taking on Edmondson. Lovely ball round the corner to Richard Horn. Oh, he's tried to stab it through Paul Wellens, and Wellens, he picked that up like picking an apple off a tree.
Not the best option, straight into the arms of Paul Wellens, but what a superb offload from Jason Smith. This season, the guy has just produced some magical pieces of rugby league football.
Stankovic now taking his opportunity. He has missed the last 8. Cunningham away to Hoppy.
You're right, Eddie, it is a big opportunity for the likes of Stankovic and of course Yonkers on the bench. It'll be interesting to see when Ian Millwood brings him into play.
Oh, Chris Joint almost through, but he got the ball away to Newlove as he fell. Newlove, we've seen what he can do already tonight. Tommy Martin, little dab over the top into the open space. Prescott's there, and he had the confidence that that ball would just skip away, touching goal, and so it did. Well, it's warming up nicely, this. St Helens off to a brilliant start. Hull gradually pegging them back. Phil, we serve up some specialities on the Super League, don't we?
We certainly do, and Hull have got the hands full, haven't they? With Tommy Martin back in the side, it adds an extra dimension to the attacking options that St Helens bring. As we just see a Saints player go down in back play, it looks badly injured. It's just whether the referee's going to stop the game. Hull won't wait for that, and Grimaldi, in from acting half-back, takes it on quickly. That's one of the aspects they've had to do, play the ball a little bit quicker and get on a roll.
Well, Chris Joint is obviously in some distress, and that is terrible news for St Helens.
Well, he went in awkward into the tackle and then just poleaxed backwards.
Just collapsed, didn't he?
Yep.
This is Jason Smith. This is what happened. This is the injury. Maybe he got a bang, I think. Yes, he did. He got a clash of heads.
Elbow, was it? Or
clash of heads. Cook with a high kick. They're all onside, said the referee. Oh, Sullivan, he did well to hang on to that. It was very awkward, and he's done even better.
What a great take. Oh, that's been pulled out. That'll be the knock-on. It was dragged backwards. That was one-on-one. That was okay.
He's going to play the first knock-on by Hull.
Yep. Well, the crowd don't like it, but the officials got it right. Well, they did ever so well, Anthony Sullivan. And then it was reefed away by Chris Smith.
Here we go, fellas.
And then they came up with a little knock-on there. It was.
Sean Hoppy for St Helens. Flying tackled by, inevitably, Jason Smith. Here is Iro. They have the devil's own job to put this fella to ground. That was a good ankle tap by Rayner.
It had to be as well. He was away. There was no one at home. Prescott was in the line of defence.
Stand out.
Rayner has saved the day. Beautiful ankle tap.
Finished off in the end by Scott Logan, but St Helens and Joint is back. Looks like the smelling salts have worked wonders.
Oh, he's a man of iron, this guy.
Here, Jason!
Hasn't trained with the team all week. Gets a big knock like that, and Martin through!
Martin, he celebrates his comeback with a try. Tommy Martin is back for St Helens. Just ghosted through the defence. Well, he's been missing for 9 weeks since the Challenge Cup final. And he is now just on 99 tries for his career.
Oh, that was simple. He just threw the little dummy. Gareth Carvell took it. A little bit of a shimmy, just how he slowed the pace down. He'll enjoy that. They have missed his skills, that is for sure, the St Helens side. And he lifts up the badge and said, that's the reason why I'm back. That's the reason why I play for this club. The pride. And boy, oh boy, they have plenty of that in this club.
Well, 99 tries now in 164 matches for the Saints. But that is significant for Tommy Martin. It's his first in Super League, though he scored plenty this year in the Cup run. And Ian Millwood, well, it doesn't seem to matter which of his stars are forced to drop out. He always seems to come up with a winning combination. And at the moment, Hull gathering behind the posts for this conversion from Paul Sculthorpe. No, they have a job on. Sculthorpe's hit the post. That could be costly at the end of the day. 16-8.
See how Martin runs the angle, so he just sucks across Carvell, the big second rower. And when he knows that he's struggling, just fends him away, really. Simple run to the line. Effortless, but priceless.
Yes, they have missed him. They have papered over the crack, but they have still missed him. And I think he's playing today at scrum half alongside Paul Sculthorpe. That will probably be the way of it, of course, with Sean Long out and for the rest of the season. Injuries, of course, provided. He was desperate to play last week, Tommy Martin, against Wigan. Had a bit of a run with his coach Ian Millwood the morning of the match, and Millwood pulled him out. Said, no, not quite ready yet, leave it till Hull. And another good decision. Joint still, off the ground to Newlove.
Oh, he's gone, the hamstring's gone there.
Something's gone,
yeah.
Certainly.
Oh, he's in a lot of trouble, is Newlove. He took 2 steps.
This is Edmondson. Good tackle by Prescott. And here goes Cunningham. And Cunningham gets to the 10-metre line.
Hands out, Luke, hands out.
Was it his hamstring? Was it his Achilles? We'll have to have a medical check on that. Good dab into the in-goal by Sculthorpe. Collected bravely by Chris Smith.
Good positioning there by Chris Smith. It had to be as well.
And Paul Newlove is taken to the sideline. He's in all sorts of trouble.
See how he just steps there and it goes. Ooh, that could be knee, ankle, ligament, anything. The big problem is that it's a serious injury. He went down like a sack of potatoes. And concern on the face of Ian Millwood, and rightly so. The intensity of this Super League season is taking its toll, and not surprisingly. There have been some heck of solid games, haven't they, Eddie?
They have indeed. Steve Hall comes on for Newlove. Now then, Hull with Felsh.
Pretty flat play there by Hull. Oh, and another back pass. They're just off the boil at the moment.
Dion Bird straightens it up. Stankovic seemed to pick up a knock then. Grimaldi, inside it goes. This is Logan. Terrific run. It's not Logan, my apologies, Craven. Craven, though, just 5-6 metres short. Jason Smith takes the tackle, and offside again against St Helens under the posts.
Smith wants to get on with it.
And Jason Smith, well, he wanted to get on with it, but the referee wants to issue a warning.
But what a beautiful pass yet again.
Well, have a look at the game, Chris. Oh, Jason, please.
And allowed the advantage, the word offside. And Jason Smith will have a little bit of a word with the referee as well.
But I've got to deal with that part of the game. Listen,
He's saying that
I need to deal with the captain in that situation. Right?
we wanted to get on with things.
He says, can't he talk to him when we've scored?
to.
But what another beautiful inside pass there that sent Craven through a wonderful hole.
I can understand Jason Smith's frustration to a degree, because he wanted to take it quickly. He felt that he had the chance to score the try, and he feels, Jason Smith that is, that it's Hull who have been penalised, despite the fact that they have the penalty.
Well, it could have cost them 4 points. As you say, this should be a simple two-pointer. It very well could have been 6.
Prescott doesn't make a mistake from there. Yes, it should have been 6, but it's only 2, and so the gap is 6.
See how I just sucked them across. It was Chris Joynt that went towards Jason Smith. Craven didn't have the legs, but from that position, the referee quite rightly so.
Well, fellas, let's make the effort on the
St Helens players well and truly offside, and Smith was absolutely furious because the official wanted to have a few words to Chris Joynt.
Prescott's goal, 6 points is the gap. Chris Smith with the trap off the knees, and Broadbent comes on. It's not the perfect night for Paul Broadbent. Here he is. He doesn't like the heat. It really does get to him, and it certainly did last week in the match last weekend. But the most important thing for St Helens is that they have picked up another injury to Paul Newlove. How severe is it, Bill?
3!
Well, we seem to have lost.
It looks pretty severe at the moment, Eddie. You found him. I'm back.
Yeah, go on.
He's picked up a calf injury, lower part of the calf on his right leg, or round the ankle, and he's certainly in an awful lot of pain on that St Helens bench at the moment. They've already got the ice packed round it, and I think they're making moves to take Paul Newlove back to the dressing room. As I speak, he's being helped to his feet by the physio, and that's curtains for Paul Newlove.
It's not curtains for Hull, though. Here they come with Fellshaw, untidy pass. Now then.
Well, that's a real muzzle.
Play on, says the referee. And he wipes the tackle count down.
Well, fair credit to Hull. They tried to keep this ball alive. They got away with it. St Helens were just hanging around when they really should have dropped onto it. It was a knock-on anyway from Chris Joynt.
And that's why the referee said play on. Here is Prescott. Almost through, but Iro and Sculthorpe, formidable defensive opponents. Scott Logan is the dummy half. Craven is inside him. Craven just lost the momentum before Hoppe came in for the kill. Now it's with Grimaldi down the short side. Tony Grimaldi, oh, the ball is free, and Steve Hall has it.
Tried to squeeze it out, did the loose forward, Tony Grimaldi, under a lot of pressure. And yet again, it must be frustrating for Sean McRae, the Hull coach. Get in such a good position. You could see the Grimaldi try to get it out in an impossible area. Possession is vital, and he knows it too.
Sean McRae, championship with St Helens, a couple of Challenge Cups as well in his 3-year reign. Then to Gateshead, then up here to Hull. And Sculthorpe with a booming kick downfield. And he's got the 40-20. Well and truly. That's a terrific kick from Sculthorpe. This will be head and feed to St Helens.
This is a wonderful rule. It really has changed the game to such an extent that if you have a tremendous kicker, and Sculthorpe showed there that he's certainly got the weight in the boot. I'm not so sure that Steve Prescott shouldn't have got to that. But this is more pressure for Hull.
But there is no end at the moment to the talent of Paul Sculthorpe.
As I mentioned before, he really is captain material.
Stay in the back, please.
Martin to Sculthorpe. Little dummy. Sculthorpe is through. Oh, it's a great tackle from Rayner again. Jason Smith put him off a bit. This is Hoppe. Hoppe forced to the side. That's good defence. Jason Smith. Well, Jason Smith just got in the way, actually, of Sculthorpe first up, before Rayner finished him off, and then he was a terrific defender on Hoppe.
Outstanding play yet again.
7-20,
We've spoken about his skills in attack. Oh, what a great tackle it was there again from Jason Smith, and then he comes to the rescue yet again. Shepherd's Hoppe all the way across. What a leader he is.
Yes, credit Jason Smith, but credit also, as Saints are offside at the scrum, credit also Gareth Rayner. He's had, I think, 3 try-saving tackles in this match already.
Get out, Sean!
Well, I'm sure that both coaches will have something to say about the defence. Both the attacking sides, they're finding the gaps. A lot of missed tackles on either side.
3 minutes to half-time. Craven taking it forward for Hull again. Still inside their own half, though. Grimaldi once again at dummy half. Cook to Smith. On the inside was Prescott, and Matautia caught him.
Well, it was more of a grab. Not so sure that he went into the face. Big smile on the face of Matautia. Not so sure that Prescott's grinning.
Somebody said something to the referee.
Well, to be fair, I don't think there's anything wrong with this.
A little bit high.
Right, come here.
More of a grab rather than the swing, but
who's captain? Jointing.
has been noted.
I think it's going on report, this.
Well, it has been noted that Vina Matautia is an awkward style of tackler. Matautia trying to impress upon the Hull players that he's only small.
All right, so we'll have a look at that later, see where it ends up. All right. Also, I don't want Kevin Iro having a go and having a back chat. All right, he's now moved it forward 10 metres.
So it wasn't Vila Matautia who disputed the call, it was Kevin Iro. That's why Hull have had 10 more metres given them. Now then, this is a big opportunity for Hull up to half-time. It's with Jason Smith, and it's wide to Cook, and here is Broadbent. Broadbent keeps those legs going, a good run, he gets to within 10. Priceless metres forward. Grimaldi again at dummy half. Cook is on his inside, there is Cook, there's 4 points! The scores will be level at half-time. Well, St Helens were pushed further 10 metres towards their own line by the back-chatting from Kevin Iro. That will upset Ian Millwood. But Paul Cook coming off the bench, the 20-year-old, and he was on the shoulder for the pass from Grimaldi, and he gets the try.
Look at the space that they allow Grimaldi to run from dummy half. And Paul Wellens holds up the arms and said, hey, come on, fellas, we're supposed to be there to tackle. Last line of defence had no chance against Paul Cup. Nice step off the left foot. What a time to score to try, as Eddie has mentioned. We'll go to the break. All square.
Steve Prescott faultless with the boot, and this is bang in front. It should be 4 from 4, and it is. And it's 16 apiece. And we're just about at half-time. It's a perfect time for Hull to score. Psychologically, a huge boost for them and their supporters. And there he is, Paul Cook, formerly with the Hull Boys Club, and a debut against St Helens here in April 1999. One of the bright young stars of our game.
Well, full credit to the Hull side. They really have rolled up the sleeves. At one point there, it looked as though St Helens were just cruising. Especially when Sculthorpe went in for their second try, but full credit to this Hull side.
Forward pass against Hull, but no time for the scrum. It's 16 all. It's a fierce old contest, as you would expect, between Steve Prescott and Hull in 4th place and Paul Sculthorpe and the Saints in 3rd. 3 tries to Saints, just 2 to Hull. It's Steve Prescott's boot that has kept Hull in touch. We're all square here at the Boulevard. Hull 16, the World Club Champions 16 from St Helens. Paul Cook's try right on the stroke of half-time has seen to that. That's where we stand after 40 minutes of the Tetley Super League here at the Boulevard.
Championship titles, 8 class fighters back for it.
This is astonishing.
Live from Manchester and only on Sky Sports Extra. 2 of British boxing's finest put it all on the line for the WBU light middleweight title.
There's no walking away now.
Laszlo Bodnar faces a now fully fit Michael Gomez.
What a rematch here.
for the WBO Intercontinental Super Featherweight title.
Oh, right hand, he's hurt.
The main event, British boxing's new sensation, Ricky Hatton,
We may have a star in this young fella.
meets #1 contender Jason Rowland. Mad for it, next Saturday at 8, live and exclusive on Sky Sports Extra.
Can I have a cheese salad bagel? Lots of mayonnaise, pepper, no salt, no cucumber. Lightly toasted. And a tall decaf cappuccino with hazelnut syrup.
What flavour bagel?
Onion.
Now, there are 3 ways to find what you want. The book, the phone, or the net. Whatever you want, just yell.
Compaq is more than just a logo on the BMW Williams F1 car. The race team's Compaq Armada M-Series notebooks with Intel Pentium 3 processors enable them to analyze the car at the track and make decisions during the race itself. And Frank Williams to realize the team's ambition of winning the World Championship again. Business solutions from Compaq.
In the likely event that you need a holiday, we advise you to remain seated at all times. Calmly press the text button and select holidays. Feel free to look through the varied selection of deals and make your choice. Sky Text is now ready for boarding.
Because we know a home is not just bricks and mortar. More Than's home insurance even covers the theft of your garden plants. More Than, a new service direct from Royal and Sun Alliance.
You're going to get me in trouble with the missus.
Over here, yes.
Oh, no, the herbs.
Take me back.
Oregano, some rosemary.
Oh, savoury.
Fantastic with chicken. Yeah.
Sainsbury's new fresh herb range now has the widest selection of unusual herbs to satisfy even the most adventurous cooks.
Here we go, boys. Some stuff. Yeah, what's that? And what is that? That is a piece of art.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
Where we'll be seeing what the best of Australia has to offer on Sky Sports 1 in the morning at 10:30. It's the State of Origin decider. The Blues against the Maroons. Many of those players will be over here on tour come the end of the year. And, of course, Warrington's Alan Langer playing for Queensland. It's the 2001 decider in the morning, 10:30. But right now, we have got some speedway coming up for you on Sky Sports as the 2001 World Cup gets underway. Our exclusively live coverage begins in Gdansk in Poland as 12 countries from around the world battle it out for a place in the finals. Sunday afternoon, 1:30, live only on Sky Sports 2. 16 apiece in the Super League. 3 tries to 2, the Saints lead, but Prescott with 4 goals doing the trick for Hull FC. And Sean McRae knows just how important this game is to his men. They are seeking their first ever Super League victory over St Helens. and they're finding it a little bit hard against the top side, beaten by Wigan and Leeds in 2 of their last 3 home games. So this would be a huge boost for them if they could get over the top of the Saints, who are seeking a 13th straight win over Hull, home or away. Question you have to ask yourself, you know, when you see Chris Joint going down as he did, and Paul Newlove, of course, off the field, with David Furley and Peter Shields already out of the side, and Sean Long for the rest of the season, is how many more injuries St Helens can cope with between now and the end. But it doesn't seem to matter, Steve-o, how many people go out of this St Helens team. Ian Millwood somehow, somewhere, comes up with the troops to do him proud.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it just shows you that the importance of having so much depth at the club. And of course Hull they've gone through their injuries. It was a game, I suppose, in the first 40 minutes in as much that there were far too many missed tackles. Both sides are in double figures, but it wasn't long before we had action, was it? It was Hull who had actually won the ball from the kickoff, and then they got into a wonderful position, but the ball was plucked out of the air by Paul Newlove. Look at him go there. And I think the big thing that surprised everybody here at the Boulevard was that Chris Smith couldn't make any headway on him. A great start for the Saints, and it could have been level pegging very early on, but Grimaldi's pass, rightly so, was forward. Jason Smith, while ever this guy's out there for Hull, the Boulevard is in with a great opportunity. This was the break from Iro, and Rayner got back. One of 4 try-saving tackles he's made in the first half, and the ball was dislodged, opportunity gone. Sculthorpe, perfect example of how if you run onto the ball, the upper body strength, this is all the work in the gym, that pays the price, and the price is the 4 points. That was a good effort there, and it looked at that point that as though St Helens were going to take over, but Grimaldi, who's making a great fist of this, you could see that Nichols should have really got into his face. He held back, paid the price. Grimaldi with a try. Hull well and truly back into it. But the beautiful dummy there from Martin. Carvel couldn't get anywhere near him. Hasn't done much in the first 40, but what more do you want for your coach than to score a vital try like that? And Jason Smith, what a beautiful inside ball. One of 6 that Jason Smith has produced in the first half for Craven. They couldn't get to it there, but full credit to him with only seconds remaining. Again, Grimaldi onto the substitute Cook. And as I said, and I mentioned that while ever they've got Jason Smith out there, they are in with a great opportunity. One of the finest players I've seen for many, many a day, and they have got to, and they, being St Helens, have to close him down.
Well, they were 7th last year, Hull, and a win today, Steve-o. And when you look at what they've got to come, it's a great opportunity for them to almost close out 3rd spot.
Yeah, it does, but I can remember a few weeks back when it looked as though all they had to do was beat Castleford, a depleted Castleford, down at the Jungle. And if they'd have won that day, they would have gone to number 1 in the spot. And for some unknown reason, the second half, they just capitulated and fell apart.
As your teeth nearly did then.
You were watching my teeth?
That day, they know.
You know, yeah,
they do that though, don't they, though?
Next thing you'll be doing, you'll be collecting coat hangers.
Right, let's go down to Phil Clark. We're not going to collect coat hangers, we're going to collect Phil Clark instead, and see what he's made of the first half. Great contest, Phil.
It is, yeah, perhaps to contrast the fact that Hull do need to be up close onto the St Helens line, really to put some pressure in. It's luckily that Tony Grimaldi's been so inventive, hasn't he, in place of Lee Jackson at acting half-back. They've looked very dangerous from there, but now with Tony Smith off the field, I can't really see him returning. There's a lot more pressure on Richard Horn to get more heavily involved and work closer with Jason Smith to provide the real impetus for Hull. Strong breeze behind Hull, or there should be in the second half, and really now it's whether they can capitalise and use that a little bit in the first half. And there's a friend of mine, one of the Hull supporters here, who says that Gareth Rayner is the find of the season, and as you say, with those try-saving tackles, it will be hard to dispute that at the moment across the whole of Super League.
Phil, I think the biggest problem for Saints is the fact that we haven't seen any good, strong running from the dummy half, apart from 2 from Kieran Cunningham. It's obvious that this guy's not 100% fit.
Yeah, and I don't think he was fit even last week, but I think that Ian Millward thinks it's a gamble to play him and get the best that he can out of him, really. He is still come up with some pretty strong runs, and very importantly for them, he's so strong in defence. Whenever Hull take the ball forward, he stops his man dead, so really he just wants him to play that role, distribute the ball really to the likes of Sculthorpe and Tommy Martin, who I expect to see a little bit more involved as the game goes on. First came back, he's now refound his confidence, and I think he will emerge as perhaps one of the stars of the game.
Thanks, Phil. Good to know that you're finding some friends here at Hull. Didn't know you had many, but you're making friends all over the Super League scene just now, eh?
Oh yeah, I'm a crowd favourite now in this little section of the crowd. I've just got to bill around to the other 5,000 or 6,000.
You'll win them over, don't worry. You've managed it with us.
Thanks.
Okay, well done, Phil. More from Phil Clark, of course, in the second half. And I wonder who's going home with the watch tonight. The man of the match, of course, on Sky Sports Live games in the Super League takes home that. The watch for the man of the match, for you watching at home and you come up with the right name, well, you could be off to the grand final. It's quite simple to enter the competition. To name the man of the match, ring those telephone numbers: UK 09009 1010 13, Republic of Ireland, it's 1550 92 35 56. 20 minutes to go. Predict Steve-O and Phil's choice as the man of the match. 2 grand final tickets will then be yours, and your name will also go into the draw to win the hospitality box at Old Trafford on the night. Well, will St Helens be there again? They're aiming, of course, for their 3rd grand final in a row. Will Hull have designs on Old Trafford? They will, I think, if they win here against the Saints, and it's all to play for, second half.
When I first arrived here, I had to learn about everything. I learned by asking questions. Why? How? What is bullseye? And people ask me questions. Where am I going? How do I take it? Am I more of a spender or a saver?
At Alliance and Leicester, we think questions are important too. They help us understand our customers. Once we understand them, we can do what's right for each and every one. Alliance and Leicester, making questions count.
Designed to restore your va-va-voom. The new Renault Clio.
Can I have a cheese salad bagel? Lots of mayonnaise, pepper, no salt, no cucumber. Lightly toasted. And a tall
decaf
cappuccino with hazelnut syrup.
What flavour bagel?
Onion.
Now, there are 3 ways to find what you want. The book, the phone, or the net. Whatever you want, just yell.
People have been asking me, where's the catch on this money-back car insurance thingy from insure.co.uk? They say you don't get your money back on car insurance just because you don't claim. Au contraire, I say, there is no catch. Sorry. Every year you'll get the lowest quote from a raft of leading insurers. Stay claim-free for 5 years and you get your first year's money back in full. No catches, no nonsense, no worries. Call now on 08702 43 43 44 and stop looking for the catch. Insure.co.uk, car insurance reinvented and about time too.
It's so peaceful here.
A dream come true. It's the most beautiful dream cottage the Mail on Sunday and Daily Mail have ever given away.
There's a fantastic stream with frogs to scare Katie.
A pretty garden with butterflies for Paddington to chase.
It's worth £200,000.
An idyllic place for the family to unwind.
Make your dreams come true. You could win this beautiful 17th century cottage, starting in the Mail on Sunday tomorrow.
In a quiet town of Eastwick, 3 beautiful women are about to discover powers they never knew they had by creating a man.
Who are you? Just your average horny little devil.
to stay for a spell.
This man appeared so charming.
Let's play some music.
Are you trying to seduce me?
Cher, Sarandon, Pfeiffer, and Nicholson.
Hocus pocus.
The Witches of Eastwick, tomorrow at 10 on Sky One.
Sunday morning at 10:30, it's the State of Origin decider. Queensland have Warrington's Alan Langer in their side, remember, and they face New South Wales for the 2001 series. It's 1-1 right now. Who will win? We'll find out at 10:30 Sunday morning, Sky Sports 1. In the Super League, it's level pegging here at the Boulevard. Hull 16, Saints 16, 3 tries to 2 in the champions' favour. Prescott's boot, so important. Here are the stats from that first half. This tackle's pretty much the same. Saints making 10 runs from dummy half. Let's take a look at the handling error as well. Hull, they've made 8 to St Helens 3, so the Saints have been a little more secure with ball in hand. And Chris Joynt leading the way with John Stankovic in the tackling department, over twice as many as Steve Craven and Gareth Carvell. Paul Sculthorpe, an absolute giant for St Helens at the moment, about to restart this match.
Stay behind, fellas, hold it.
Saints playing into the sunshine in this second 40.
Okay, let's go.
The sky's clearing all the time. Lovely evening. And who's to win? Well, it's up there for the taking now, and it's a vital 2 points for Hull, who are 4th, and the Saints, who are 3rd.
Wait, Billy, wait.
And of course, Sean McRae, he guided Gateshead to 2 wins over St Helens in 1999, but Hull haven't beaten St Helens since December 1993. They haven't beaten them then in Super League as yet. So it's a glorious opportunity for them tonight. And perhaps the wind is at the Hull backs in the second half, because that was a 40-20 attempt by Jason Smith, but it just ballooned off his foot and hurtled its way over the dead ball line. And you can see how strong the wind is, and that is blowing at Hull's backs in this second 40.
Well, they've shown their hand. That's their intention now, is to utilise the kick, and rightly so. And of course, Saints will have the problem of running into the sun. You can see the lengthening shadows out there.
Here's Tim Yonkers for St Helens. You've got big raps for this fellow, Steve-O, only 19 years of age.
Yeah, he's developing well, and he's got plenty of effort about him, plenty of skills. And a great opportunity now, and I think that's a good move by Ian Millward, to not just bring him off the bench sort of 10 minutes into the second half, but to have a chance to talk to him and say, look, get out there, show what you're worthy of.
Sculthorpe's high kick into that wind. Another tester for Chris Smith, but boy, he has come up with the goods for Hull this evening, so far anyway. And Prescott now up against his former club, of course. Well, and so too is Chris Smith, to be fair.
That's right, and in the past, Chris Smith has found the high ball a bit of a problem. It's the reason why Ian Millward has instructed to Paul Sculthorpe to pepper him. As Eddie mentioned, he's been equal to the task.
Ball is released, and it's brilliantly picked up by Richard Horne. And Richard Horne is then picked up by Matautia and dumped with Chris Joynt.
Well, there's no arm in between the legs, so that's legal.
This is Jason Smith. Oh, and he flicked the ball back. Tommy Martin's after it, but was he quick enough? No.
Well, he got it, and I think he lost it again.
Well, if he got it, it should be wiped down, the tackle count, but it isn't. This is the last. And Richard Horne will hoist the kick. That will catch the wind. And Steve Hall, this time, it's his turn to claim a high kick. Right, let's get downstairs and join Bill Arthur for news of what was said by the two coaches at half-time.
Sean McRae's words to his side were to play smart football in this second half, keep control, complete their sets of 6, and make these conditions work to their advantage. They have got the wind at their backs, they've also got the sun setting behind the posts at their end, and they've seen Saints come up with the error as well. They just need to keep control and capitalise on the position, whereas Saints need to tighten up around the ruck area, according to coach Ian Millward. That's where they've got to be alert. The bad news for them is that Paul Newlove will not be back. He's got that what could be a bad calf injury. Tony Smith hoping though to return for Hull FC.
It's Hull in possession here with Gareth Rayner, and he almost chinned Paul Sculthorpe there as he tried to offload the tackle, the would-be tackle. This is Craven.
He's having a fine game as a winger, Gareth Rayner, not only in attack but also in defence, as we've seen 4 try-saving tackles in that first 40 minutes.
Jason Smith, good tackle by his opposite number, Paul Sculthorpe. Quick play the ball, Broadbent will carry it forward. The Hull turns and looks for support. It's there from Grimaldi. It went back to Jason Smith. So this is Paul Cook. Cook has found a hole, and Cook puts Hull ahead. Hull take the lead with Paul Cook's second try. And Hull ahead in this match for the first time. Start of this second half. Just what Sean McRae and the Threepenny Standers would have wanted.
They were rewarded there. It was a good short pass, and the big fella Broadbent took it forward, and from that they kept the ball alive, twisted in the tackle. This is the run from Broadbent. Look how it sucks in the defence. There were 5 or 6 there. You could have thrown a net over all of them. He threw the dummy. Joint couldn't get through, and the substitute Paul Cook has raised the spirits here at the Boulevard. A well-taken try. Just shifts the body. It was a neat little dummy. Oh, that's a great effort.
Well, he's come off the bench. He's taken this game by the scruff of the neck as young Paul Cook. 2 fine tries either side of half-time as well. And Prescott adds the extras. And Hull have a 6-point advantage. They're ahead for the first time tonight. Can they hang on to it now?
What a great time to score so soon after the restart. And the Saints' problem, as I mentioned at half-time, and I'm sure that Ian Millwood will want to try to get it tightened up. But this run here, and there was about 7 or 8 Saints players in and around that play-the-ball area, if he had been tackled, and they're finding the gaps out wide. A little bit more effort needed in defence. That's a good kick-off.
High hanging, and it's loose, but Broadbent gets to it. Everybody in the Hull defence overran it apart from Paul Broadbent. Grimaldi involved in everything. Here is Chris Smith now, and he bounces away from the tackles. He's lost the ball. Joint has it back. Here's Tommy Martin. Tommy Martin, oh, maybe he should have passed it wide to Sullivan. Sullivan instead comes in at dummy half, scampers away himself. Broadbent got to him. Grimaldi is there. So too was Luke Felsh.
Keep your eye on Sculthorpe. He wants a ball out wide, and he's been knocked away.
Cunningham
he was very slow, was Cunningham. He had it reefed away.
Prescott now, and Prescott turns defence into attack. Prescott, he goes inside Wellens. That was a weak attempt. That wasn't from Iro.
Not the best effort from Paul Wellens, but Iro try saving. They've got the numbers out wide, and it's not the best pass. He had to dive forward then. Rayner had to go and dive for the football.
Here's Craven.
Lost the momentum.
The St Helens defence is set, but there are still 3 tackles in the bank for Hull, with Jason Smith and now Richard Horne and Paul Cook, who's on the hat-trick. Stewart got to him. Oh, so too did Cunningham. Fierce challenge from Cunningham. 8 metres away. Horne to Jason Smith. A little dab through, looking for the chasers. Logan was there. Broadbent is there. Here's a decision for the video ref. He won't give this yet, Stuart Cummings.
Okay. We're onside, and we're looking for grounding as well.
Onside grounding.
Well, I think Broadbent was just in front. And was this guy there? Broadbent comes through. Oh, I don't know whether he's got it down either. Scott Logan had the opportunity.
Well, they're all onside. That's Broadbent. This is Scott Logan.
So on the side shot, shows quite clearly. Now then, did Logan touch it? Will that be classified as a knock-on? And did he get it down? Wellens is dragging the ball loose. It's on the knee. And I don't know whether he's got it down now. Now, will they go back to the moment where Logan makes the impact with the football? Will it be classified as a knock-on?
Well,
no, he's convinced. It'll be
like he's made his mind up. And a try it is. Well, Hull now have daylight between themselves and Saints. And Paul Broadbent has come up with a try. Only his second of the season. but the former Great Britain and England international, that is a priceless effort.
Well, he's turned it all around, hasn't he, Broadbent? It was a run from Broadbent that gave them the opportunity, that sucked in the Saints' defence so they could whip it out wide. Cook accepted the 4 points on that occasion. It's Broadbent himself. Opportunist try.
Almost 400 career games now for Sheffield, Halifax and Hull for Paul Broadbent. And Prescott 5 from 5 tonight, 6 from 6. And Hull will have a 12-point lead. The flags, the roars, the smile, it's just about there, 28-16.
What a turn-up, and what a beautifully weighted kick from Jason Smith, the architect of so many tries. Video referee was quite happy that Scott Logan didn't touch that. It was bouncing all over the place. Wellens couldn't get to it, Broadbent did. Now then, can St Helens get out of this?
Well, it's in the game plan. Give the opposition a 12-point lead, fight back and nick it at the death. Let's see. Let's see whether this is one game too far for Ian Millwood's men. He's down ground level, and he knows that his men here are in a battle without so many of their star names. And Sonny Nicol returns, and here goes Dion Bird. Hull have got the tails up.
Oh, this defence is being cut to ribbons.
Rayner, Jason Smith, shaped to kick and danced his way through. Got the ball away to Broadbent, he couldn't pick it up. Stankovic does and gives it to Yonkers.
Well, that would have been the ball game. Jason Smith yet again at the heart of everything. Broadbent couldn't get it. Okay, Wellens was there, but I fancy that Broadbent was looking to charge right over the full-back.
Yonkers on to Stankovic. Broadbent there, and so too is Scott Logan.
Well, we know that Saints can dig deep, but this is a hole that's turning into a coal mine.
This is Hoppy.
They need something spectacular, and very quickly too.
Iro, Hoppy, Nicol. The defence is there, and Nicol trying to outmuscle them and has to take the fourth tackle this particular set of 6. It's with Cunningham to Yonkers. And Yonkers attacks the heart of that defence, flicks it back to Sculthorpe, and he just nonchalantly picked it out of the air with one hand. Then he found Iro. Iro dabs it through. Rayner is there to snuff the danger out. Well, an interesting statistic about Ian Millwood and St Helens. Under his control, Ian Millwood, St Helens have never lost consecutive matches. They have lost 2 in a row in the Super League this year, but in between, Millwood and the Saints picked up the Challenge Cup. Never before have they lost 2 consecutive matches. But they've got a 12-point deficit to turn around here, and Tony Smith is preparing to come back on by the looks of things for Hull. And that's a good kick, but it'll skip away, and it will go dead in goal.
Just turn to the right there, but they are the right tactics. Paul Cook got a good boot on him as well. Also supported by that man, Jason Smith. He's also will come into his own with a tactical kicking game, and that's all they need to do. Just keep turning the St Helens side around, and for the first time, the real Hull fans are getting behind their team. You can sniff a real good victory here.
But hang on, it's the Saints they're playing, and it's a long way from finished yet. Sculthorpe inside to Hoppy. Here they come, the Saints, digging deep on their reserves again. Sculthorpe once more, super run, but it drops. That'll be the knock-on against Paul Sculthorpe.
Well, I'm not surprised that Sean McRae is getting the message down. He'll be happy with the defence. Millwood still looks calm, but that's the 3rd occasion that Sculthorpe has jumped into the dummy half. I would have thought that they'd be better served by using Sculthorpe a little bit out wide, especially taking the first man or the second man, trying to create something out there.
It's with Dion Bird now. Joint and Sculthorpe combined to bring him down. Paul Cook was the dummy half. Here is Luke Felsh. Joint again, and Yonkers.
Amazing stat there. 16 missed tackles by the St Helens side, and I get the feeling there's more to come. Their defence has been all at sea throughout this match.
Campbell away from Tommy Martin. Joint in Yonkers. Tommy Martin must be short of match practice. First match for 9 weeks, but he's there, putting his shoulder to the wheel for the St Helens cause. Horn. Here's Smith. And now it's Logan. And he was grabbed by Iro, but he's got the penalty.
Interference, second bite. And on the rack, that is for sure. Now will they go for the 2 on offer or just punch it into the corner? They're going for the 2, and that doesn't surprise me. At 28-16.
Nothing wrong with the original tackle. It was there as Logan tried to get to his feet to play the ball, but Iro was penalised.
Stu Cummings laid down the law very early in this match.
Stop waving his hands at half-back. I'll deal with it if there's a
that
problem.
Man in your picture, he can produce something sensational.
And so can he.
On my fault you can't get off the ground.
Well, he doesn't look too concerned. He's a pretty cool customer, is Ian. He knows that he's still got plenty of time, but this could be an extra nail in the coffin that is being built. Will Saints be deposited in it on 80 minutes?
6 out of 6. Trying to drift it towards the posts with the wind. And he didn't get it dead, but it doesn't matter now. Stewart is trapped. We'll get the drop out from underneath the posts after all. 6 out of 7 then for Steve Prescott. He applauds the chase from the kick, did he actually land on the line anyway?
I think he did. It makes no difference. That's been the difference between the two sides, or the enthusiasm that's been shown by Hull as compared to the St Helens side, are somewhat lethargic.
Well, coming into this match after the big effort against Wigan, of course, last week. But Saints always can find something. They drag victories from the jaws of defeat week on week. And here they come again with Iro. Such strength.
Just couldn't pull it in there.
Now Saints have the penalty.
And Logan Campbell will be ruin the fact that he's spilled that ball. It was a good pass from Jason Smith. Vital now that Hull get their one line of defence pretty solid.
Nickel with the first drive in. Cunningham waits at dummy half and he gives it inside to Tim Yonkers. And Yonkers cuts inside Grimaldi. A nice little run from the 19-year-old. Cunningham dummy half. Sculthorpe and Tommy Martin lets it go. Anthony Stewart picks it up for Saints.
That's another factor that's been missing from the Saints attack, is the second phase of play.
Play on.
Support play hasn't been good.
This is Cunningham. Here is Hoppy. Hoppy goes in and out around to Iro, and Iro's in. Iro's in. And the try is awarded by Stuart Cummings. Well, they're never done, the Saints, until that final siren, and anyone who writes them off does so at their peril.
Well, they certainly needed this. Wasn't the best pass, but Stewart did the right thing, even though it squeezed out as he was going to ground. Watch this. Being dragged away, it goes backwards. Referee Cunningham says, play on. Sculthorpe whips it out. Cunningham does the rest. And Hoppy and Iro combine. Sheer strength here. Is this the beginning? Is this another fairy tale? Okay, Lady Luck going their way, but you force it yourself. They were hesitant in defence, and Hoppy did well, in and out from Bird, gave him the opportunity. Nerves are tingling at the boulevard.
Sculthorpe then, into the sunshine. He's missed it. Similar position to the one he missed last week against Wigan that would have clinched the match. This one, well, I wonder how important that will be come the end of the day. 28-20, the try from the New Zealander Kevin Iro. And interesting, Steve-o, when Paul Sculthorpe was lining up that conversion attempt, Kieran Cunningham went to the touchline and there was a deep conversation with his coach Ian Millward underway. I wonder whether we'll see a change somewhere, a little tweak here or there.
Well, you never know, but there's little doubt that he came into this game under-prepared. The fitness test just an hour before the kickoff. And he's such a strong character as Kieran Cunningham. He will not throw the towel in. And we've seen quite clearly that he's not fully fit. We haven't seen the great runs from dummy half. He's just tried to control things there. And in fact, most of the time in the second half, it's been Paul Sculthorpe that's been taking care of the dummy half position.
This is Sean Hoppy now. Saints 40 metres away from their own line. 8 points behind, and here goes Cunningham with a run from dummy half this time.
Make it!
Iro is the dummy half then. And Sculthorpe with the chip over the top. Gareth Rayner and Steve Prescott watch it, and Rayner decides to take the responsibility himself and pick up, and he runs the ball back.
That was a great kick from Paul Sculthorpe. Cunningham.
Average 9 per match tonight, just 3.
Says it all.
He's slightly underdone, isn't he?
But it's a brave effort, and he obviously must have convinced his coach Ian Millwood that just give me a go.
Well, I think with Peter Shields and David Burley out, I think it was a question of they had to have Kieran Cunningham out there.
And
he's got Mick Hyam on the bench, of course.
Well, he knows now that perhaps he would have said to Cunningham, give me another 10 minutes. Let's see if we can just squeeze a try out, put the little bit of pressure, get the nerves jangling in this whole side. But it's a kicking game that really Hull have to just concentrate on. That was a poor one.
And that was a great take from Wellens, who runs the ball back bravely, as he always does.
Okay, tackle one.
Yeah, that really wasn't what Hull needed. They really should have hammered that ball right down. Even to just kick it, get in goal, they can put up their defence so that when the Saints tap on the 20, they can handle everything. It's just a matter of keeping the St. Helens side turning around. They still hang on to an 8-point lead. They've got to try to control it.
Nickel to his feet. Here goes Cunningham again. That's his 4th run from dummy half. And he was hauled down by Craven. Iro to Sculthorpe, to Tommy Martin. Martin just waited, and Joint arrived. And Joint gives it to Stankovic. They're in again, are they? Great tackle back. Oh, he got the ball away. Off the post. Off. Deary me. Grimaldi will turn defence into attack.
Deary me. That was try time. This is wonderful. Stankovic whips it up, bobbles forward, and Grimaldi comes to the rescue.
It was Paul Cook with the tackle underneath the post. It looked for all the world like Stankovic was on his way over the line.
Well, that could really knock the stuffing out of St. Helens now. That was the opportunity that they were looking for. And that's not a bad kick. Will he get there?
Yes, I think he has.
This is going to be
David Maiden. David Maiden won the race.
Okay.
But has he come from an onside position? And he also wants to check the grounding. It hung, and then it spun away. And Maiden, fresh legs on. But he's onside.
Well, what a kick from Cook.
Where he's come from, but he got there quick.
And he just showed so much speed. He's onside, he's Maiden.
There he is there, going past the 2 defenders.
And Sullivan, has he got there? According to this, yes. That is try time.
What an effort.
Superb kick from Cook. The combination, and Maiden. Well, I said the opportunity was wasted when Stankovic tried to flip the ball to Sculthorpe. We couldn't pull it in. It hit the post. They came back. And what a great kick there.
Well, this is the decision, and the try is given. Sensational kick. Maiden's try.
Now, was it Cook or was it Horn?
Well,
either way, Maiden's come up with the try.
He has. I never want to doubt your eyesight.
It is Horn. What a wonderful effort. They caught Sullivan napping. They caught the fullback too.
Yes, Richard Horn.
It is Richard Horn. And he could see that Sullivan was out of position. That is superb.
Great effort from Maiden.
That's what wins your rugby league games.
And so does kicks from people like Steve Prescott. Prescott's added the extras. It's 34-20. And Hull here on the verge of their first ever win in Super League against the Saints. And it's his first try at the Boulevard for quite some time.
And what a try, Eddie. But full credit to the youngster, Richard Horne.
Cunningham's off.
The gamble has not paid off for St. Helens. Certainly underdone Kieran Cunningham. It's been a brave effort from him. But gambles like that sometimes pay off. They have not done that yet. Well, but they haven't finished yet.
They say coaches lose matches, players win them. But the coach is the man who makes the substitutions and makes the changes. But David Maiden has just come off the bench and scored immediately, and 4 of the 5 tries that Hull have scored have been made by men that Sean McRae has pitched on off the bench.
Well, they've repaid their coach full weight, haven't they? But it's quick thinking like that. Richard Horne came from the dummy half. You could see him look up to the right-hand side. He knew that Sullivan was not hanging back. There was an open space.
There's another kick for Maiden to chase. And Maiden is chasing, but it bounces to Sullivan. This time, the winger gets away, only as far as Dion Bird.
Well, it would surprise me if Sullivan would be caught out yet again.
Big cheer was for Stuart Cummings, who took a tumble. Well, 14 points now for St Helens to make up. And here they come with Mick Hyan. I wonder, though, Phil Clark, whether this is just a bridge too far. And we, of course, have the Humber Bridge not far away from us.
Well, you could never write St Helens off. You've taught me that over the last few weeks. However, having said that, Hull were in a similar position against Leeds when we were here last, and I can't see them making the same mistake. More importantly, they're cleverly using the kicking game in this second half with the wind behind them and not allowing Saints to attack on their line, although it was one of the few chances they've had to do that.
High kick from Martin it is, and they're all onside. Sculthorpe's after it. Gareth Rayner collects it. And then he collects the tackle from Sean Hoppy. Well, you know, they're calling Gareth Rayner the new Jason Robinson up here in Hull. That might be a little premature, but, well, he looks like him, doesn't he? And he has a lot of talent, does Gareth Rayner. There he is at dummy half.
He's had a fine match.
In possession here.
A lot of power and pace. And the most important factor, of course, that 4 try-saving tackles in that first half says it all.
09 009 10 10 13 UK viewers, 15 50 92 35 56 across the Irish Sea and the Emerald Isle. If you've seen a fine performance here tonight, make your choice. See if you can agree with Phil Clark and Steve-O. Another good kick from Cook, but Steve Hall had funneled back and waited for the possible 40-20. And here comes Hall now, and he finds Wellens, and the crowd scream for forward.
50-50 at least. Well, it's catch-up football now from Saints.
As it seems to always be.
Well, the past masters of it.
15 minutes and 14 points. Doesn't sound much, does it, when you say it like that? And here they come again. But that is Horne, and he did well.
That was knocked down deliberate. Back to 6. Good referee. Richard Horne got the ball.
He doesn't agree, but it was absolutely right from Stuart Cummings.
No doubt about it. Been just coming in a little bit too late. Campbell, that is. Oh, that's not the best pass.
No, Stuart.
That erodes the confidence.
Just off his chin, almost, this.
Well, Sean McRae will be getting
a low chin, by the way.
What a long one. Let's be the case. But Sean McRae will be getting the message out now to the experienced Tony Grimaldi and, of course, Jason Smith, making sure that the 2 youngsters, young Paul Cook, Richard Horne, take control of the kicking game. There's no point in being up in your own half. Just keep St Helens going backwards.
Logan Campbell touched in flight, a 0. Gareth Rayner. You can see why people call him the new Jason Robinson. He has the same sort of hunch style of running. He's got a long way, though, to get into his shoes. And by the way, it was terrific to see.
No, it's about 11,500 miles, isn't it, to Australia?
Yeah, but it was terrific to see Jason in such fine form for the Lions
sure was.
this morning. Their start of the show, although that's not the view of Stuart Barnes. This is Cook. Well, we may as well give him a serve. Maiden. He's a good pal of ours, is Barnsley. This is Edmondson, and he's got
backwards.
It back.
Yeah. Now, that was silly play from Hull, when they didn't need to do that. All they have to do is just really control things. They don't have to force the play. It's Saints that have to do that. They're in the catch-up situation.
Penalty for the flop, Paul Cook. Coming in late, says Stuart Cummings.
Well, there's still plenty of time. Don't worry about that.
He knows that too. He knows it more than most, having been at St Helens for 3 glorious years. If they get on a roll, he knows St Helens can rip you to shreds.
Even in the last second.
And they've got a chance here. Good defence against Mark Edmondson, and that's the whole line. Now Nicol is backed himself. Strength from Nicol.
Held up.
Held up is the decision.
Head and feed, they'll still have the ball. That's the most important factor for Saints. That's a good effort from Nicol. Okay, if he can't take the odds and come up with a try, he knows that he's going to get 6 more play the balls. Well, the nerves will jingle if Saints go in now.
Yes, 14 points and 13 minutes.
They look a bit weak on the blind side to Hull.
And Martin went the other way. Sculthorpe to Iro. Dion Bird does well. Oh, he's got Tull for offside now. And everybody in black and whites on the terraces furious with Stuart Cummings.
Well, it's a rule that it's nice to see that the officials are utilising, allowing such a long advantage play.
Tommy Martin, and wide it goes to Anthony Stewart. The
good scrambling defence. They're working as a unit now, Hull.
Tommy Martin, he went without the ball, left it to Joint. Sullivan flicks the ball back, and they have it back to Hull. And here comes Logan Campbell. Logan Campbell has got David Maiden with him.
He did the right thing. He did the right thing. Possession is vital, and he knows it does Sean McRae.
Jason Smith now. Steve Prescott almost away from Hoppy, but a flying tackle from the Kiwi. Prescott wants to get up and get on with it. Jason Smith from dummy half. Keeps going.
He's had a wow of the game with Jason Smith.
Just keeps on going, doesn't he, Jason Smith? He's hurt though there. Grimaldi, broad bent. He'll drive it in.
Will it be a 1 point?
Well, Prescott's there.
I'd be looking for it.
No, they're coming this way with Richard Horne. Takes the tackle from Hoppy. It's the last, and he looks like he's hurt as well.
Twisted the ankle. He's in a lot of pain. He's a youngster. Let's hope he's okay. He can hardly get up and play the ball.
He did, though. Jason Smith. Kick to the in goal. Collected by Iro. And Iro brilliantly off the ground to Hall. And Hall thrown into touch by Scott Logan.
Wonderful play by Logan. Also outstanding play by Kevin Iro under a lot of pressure. Congratulations, pats on the head, and rightly so. Just couldn't keep his feet off the whitewash there, Steve Hall. Tense moments there for Sean McRae, but this crowd just have a feeling that perhaps they're going to hang on for this one. 14 points.
Is in trouble, though.
14 points is the deficit.
That won't help them. So Richard Horne goes off, and Tony Smith, with head cleared, now returns to the fray. That's a blow to lose Richard Horne, though.
Now will Smith and Jason Smith combine?
Smith, and Smith, could be any of them. Here's Rayner. Good tackle, Stewart.
Great play.
Here's Chris Smith. Fancies the chance himself.
Well, I'd go for the post, mate. I'll be wanting the 1 point.
10 minutes to go. Grimaldi. Felch.
Looks like that's what they're doing. Will they go early? No, it looks like Broadbent's going to card it up.
Grimaldi. Cook. First touch from Tony Smith, and he's dropped it. And no advantage to St Helens, so they'll put the scrum down about 5 metres further forward.
Well, if I were Sean McRae, I'd be a little bit disappointed with this. In a prime position, he keeps shaking his head, and
he is disappointed.
And he's every right to be when he knows that they've got the game. All they have to do is just make sure they get 1 more point. Psychologically, it would just kill off this St Helens side. You can't allow them a glimmer of hope.
And there it is, the hope from Hoppy. Hoppy!
They won't catch it. They won't get anywhere near him.
Rayner will.
What an effort!
Another great tackle from Gareth Rayner. to retain possession. Rayner is flat out, such was the effort of that chase. So they're short down that side. Hoppy, and there's Hall, and Saints are in. Try is given. What an effort from Gareth Rayner, but it has all come to nothing. And it is going to be a tense finish here at the Boulevard. Hall has scored, Rayner was flat out, Hull were caught short in defence, and Steve Hall with 9 minutes to go. But what a run from Hoppy.
Hope and Hoppy went through. I thought no one would catch him. What an effort from Rayner. And he's picked up a sort of a stray boot, I think, or is it just exertion? I think it's just out of puff. It's as simple as that. And they were all at sea. Sculthorpe did well to drag it back. And with no winger in attendance. What an effort. What a game this Gareth Rayner has had. Good work from Hoppy, though. Oh, and they've missed. It's been a problem throughout the day.
It has. 34-24, 10 points the difference then. Obviously, they are not prepared to risk Tommy Martin. Sculthorpe's missed 4. He's kicked only 2.
Well, that was an outstanding break. Now then, is there a knock-on from Hall? No, he missed it.
It was an air shot.
Either way, Hoppy did ever so well. Hall's missed it, right. But look, Hoppy says, hey, come on, we need this ball. We're desperate. That is a wonderful effort.
Well, 10 is the difference, and 7 is the difference between now and the final siren. Mick Hyan from dummy half.
Well,
it goes to Stankovic.
The missed goal kicks are going to prove costly for Saints.
Well, they are. He's missed it, I say. He's missed 4. Now that would have put them back within Kewick. 09009 10 10 13 UK 1550 92 35 56. Line still open. It will be for 6.5 more minutes. Stewart's gone without it. Chris Smith has picked it up, and he'll surely. I was going to say he'll surely put the scrum down because there was little advantage there for Hull. They lost 12 metres, but he just wipes the tackle count down.
Well, I would have thought so. Now then, the touch judges call for the referee.
Okay, mate. Right, scrum. Saints head and ball.
Oh, Saints have got head and ball. I think they've got this wrong.
Here we go. He's seen a knock-on, fellas, before all
So
that.
he's, you say...
There's the knock-on from St Helens.
They should have played it.
No, I got a shot.
And he's deemed that Cook has come up with a knock-on.
In you go. Get in.
There's no advantage whatsoever.
I'll say.
I think between them, the referee and touch judge have got
Tony,
that
get your head in, please.
all upside down.
If St Helens score here, they'll go absolutely bananas.
I don't think Sean McRae will be too impressed. Iro has broken the defence. Wide it goes to Hall. Dion Bird comes back with a very timely tackle.
He's worked overtime in defence as Dion Bird.
Sculthorpe.
He's been like a rock out there. They're on the roll, the Saints. They will not throw the towel in.
They have the sniff of something again. Hyam to Sculthorpe. Here's Tommy Martin. Tommy Martin flicks it out wide. Stewart, ball back inside. They're in. Saints are in. Tommy Martin. Tommy Martin with the try. His 100th try in his career. And there can be few that he has scored in his career with as much controversy as that.
Well, that was a mistake by the referee, Stuart Cummings. Well, should I say the touch judge.
A 100th career try for St Helens for Tommy Martin.
It was provided by Martin Stewart back on the inside. And I go back to a few moments ago when Hull failed to go for 1 point that really would have just killed this game off. I said do not give him a hope. It was Hoppy that made the break for that other try for Hall. Now it's Martin that's provided. Can Sculthorpe kick it? No.
No, he can't. So it stays at 34-28. The gap, though, is only 6 points. Well, there is the knock-on.
Knock-on.
And where's the Hull knock-on?
Well, the touch judge has deemed, right,
that
Paul Cook has knocked on.
He's got that totally and completely wrong, the touch judge.
But it just shows you the
Unless something happened at the play of the ball.
No, nothing. No.
When Chris Smith got up, he wiped the tackle count down, the referee, and said play on.
Well, he shouldn't have. There was no advantage.
Well, that's what we said as soon as it happened, but
Hull have been badly done to there.
And St Helens have got the snip of the single point at least. Here's Wellens.
Well, if they finish up with 1 point here, I just keep harping back on the situation, and Sean McRae will be absolutely furious that they didn't go for that 1 point when the game was in the bag.
Well, it was 38-34 at Knowsley Road on Easter Monday, and it's 34-28 here. Turn up for Hull and Saints, and you see points aplenty, and you see drama as well. And there's more drama to come here. We've got just 3 minutes left, and it's a try and a goal that Saints are away. And it's with Sculthorpe. And here's Tommy Martin again. And now Chris Joint.
Forward pass.
He's given that as a forward pass. Well, I'm not so sure.
I reckon it was, mate.
You don't think that it's payback time, do you?
That's the difference.
What about the momentum rule?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong whatsoever.
Hey.
Look where Tommy Martin, that's where he catches it.
Tommy Martin's ahead.
Yeah, the momentum rule is coming to effect.
Okay, mate.
You're not saying
Let's
that
get in,
that was a square up, are you?
I would never be so bold.
It's out.
Until the last couple of minutes, Stuart Cummings has controlled this match superbly.
Okay, tackle one. Come on, tackle
Well, it
one.
wasn't his fault.
No penalty.
It was the touch judge,
did it all wrong. Prescott.
It's no good shooting a monkey when it should be the piano player.
Oh, dear. This is Felsh. I'm not even going to comment about that.
Come on.
Here now is Scott Logan.
Well, surely now they will be going, but good offload there. Scott Logan did very well, but they've got to be running towards the sticks.
And Sonny Nichols now claiming that Dion Bird clutched that ball back and he's knocked on. Time is held up. Dion Bird is injured. These are tense moments for Sean McRae.
And they shouldn't have been. He knows, he's an experienced coach, is Sean. He knows that this side should have just wrapped it up about 5 or 6 minutes ago. And they should have just set up nice and steady for a one-pointer. The heads at St Helens would have gone down, and they would have come away Hull with a famous win.
Broadbent, good run. Now then, will they go for the 1 point here just to wrap it up?
Jason
Back
will.
with Jason Smith. He gives it to Steve Prescott. He goes Smith. He's hit it wide.
20.
Well, 1.5 minutes remain.
When you're ready, Mick.
And St Helens have got the possession, and here they come, Edmondson. And St Helens, incidentally, have scored 6 tries to 5.
No penalties.
Here's Hyan. Hyan, good run. That's the second tackle. They've got plenty of tackles, plenty of time. Stankovic. They put the ball down, though, now, and that, I think, is the match, and he knows it. It's going to be Hull who will finish in control. And I think Hull are about to claim their first ever win over the Saints in Super League.
And to be fair, it's fully deserved.
It's St Helens who get head and feed, though.
Let's go.
Well, how on earth have they come up with that? I didn't see. Did it? Must have ricocheted at the last moment.
Ricocheted off the tackler. So we'll tell you what, we've cooked the goose for Saints 30 seconds early.
But surely the ball played the man, not the other way around.
Well, there are so many things to talk about here over the past 5 minutes.
Well, they will do if Saints score in the dying seconds, and we have seen them do that plenty of time before. Great tackle.
Logan on Edmondson. Maiden's there as well, and Edmondson fighting to stay on his feet.
They'll only have one more play of the ball. It's got to be kick and chase. Martin's put it on.
Prescott's
ball, it's all over.
It's a famous win for Hull. It's a famous win for the Black and Whites and for Sean McRae. Well, Ian Millwood hasn't tasted defeat too often, but he has lost out here by 34 points to 28. An absolutely breathtaking match again in the Tetley Super League. Sean McRae, nerves would have been jangling in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Maiden's try, though, was absolutely crucial. The players shake hands all round. The Hull supporters celebrate. Saints go home beaten. Terrific effort from two fine sides. Hull claim third place then. Saints drop down to fourth. And the biggest talking points around a couple of decisions late on by referee Stuart Cummings. 34-28. Hull have won. What a day for the former Saints players in the Hull side. One of them is Steve Prescott.
Steve, it must be so sweet to put one over on your old club.
Oh yeah, it's been about 3 or 4 years since I beat Saints and any team that I played for. So it's a great performance by the lads.
And they take some beating, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Then till 80 minutes. Sean McRae told us all week we've got to play till 80 minutes. You can't switch off for a minute with Saints. They're such a good attacking side.
And was your heart in your mouth right towards the end? They were doing it again, weren't they?
Oh, definitely. Right till the final hooter. I knew that they'd try a little kick over the top because that was it. It was all or nothing, wasn't it, at the end?
Now, you've had some shaky performances in recent weeks. This must be sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's good to get back-to-back wins again. I left last week at Halifax and now going back onto this. And we know it's going to be tough again. It's never easy playing in Super League, and it gets worse next week. We've got Bradford at Bradford.
Okay, well done.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Now then, still to come tonight, it's International Rugby Union following us here on Sky Sports 1. Highlights from today's first test between Australia and the Lions and New Zealand against France. Coming up shortly, Sky Sports 2, it's live golf from the US Seniors Open and action from the Canon Greater Hartford Open. At 1 o'clock, there's live Indy motor racing, and on Sky Sports 3 tonight, there's late night wrestling in WWF Late Night Smackdown. And don't forget, coming up tomorrow morning at 10:30 on Sky Sports 1, it's the State of Origin decider. Queensland take on New South Wales. It's 1-1. Tomorrow, winner takes all. Alan Langer of Warrington is in the Queensland side. So Queensland, New South Wales tomorrow with all the intensity that has and all the excitement of the Tetley Super League here personified at the Boulevard. 34 points to 28. Hull have won it despite being outscored in the try-scoring stakes by the champions. Hull then go third, Saints go fourth, and the man of the match, well, he has won the Tissot watch for some fantastic tackles. Gareth Rayner of Hull is the man of the match. There is the new Jason Robinson, that's what they're calling him, and he's talking here to Bill.
Thanks, Eddie. We're being drowned out by the sound of Old Faithful from the Hull dressing room at the moment. Gareth, there you go, there's the Tissot watch. Congratulations, what a performance from the guys.
Yeah, let's thank Tissot Footwatch. Yeah, great performance. We know we have to put a big performance on today because we know how good Saints are, and it's a fantastic victory.
Were you a bit anxious towards the end? They were doing it again, weren't they? Creeping back on you.
Yeah, I know Saints are well known for scoring last minute, but I kept looking at the clock and counting seconds down. Yeah, fantastic.
Well done, you got there in the end.
Just like to say hello to my granddad as well at home.
Well done, okay.
Well, he did the Steve-O there. Bill was asking him the questions and he was looking straight down the lens of the camera. Janet Russell of Hull, she's picked out Gareth's performance as man of the match. She's had a great day. She's on her way to the grand final on October the 13th, and her team, Hull FC, have come up with a very, very important win over the Saints. They're first in Super League, and it takes them to third place in the table. We had drama from start to finish. It just gets more and more breathless, this competition, week by week. But, Steve-O, we will all talk about the decision from Stuart Cummings at the end. Had St Helens got over the line, they didn't, and Hull hung on.
Yeah, it would have been an injustice. I think that Hull fully deserved the 2 points on the day, and there was a lot of wonderful tries scored, but there was one particular one when Horn kicked the ball downfield. Now, where Maiden came from is anybody's guess, but young Horn realised that Sullivan was out of position. Maiden come up with it. That was great football, and then Hull, for some unknown reason, provided dumb football. It looked as though they'd leave them an opening. Hoppy was the one that made the break, and from the Hoppy break, and this is the reason why this kid has picked up the man of the match. That was his 5th try-saving tackle throughout the game, and the situation should have been dead and buried, but you just cannot keep this side down, can you? Back on the outside, you can see that Rayner is nowhere to be seen. He's receiving treatment, hauling for the try, and then Martin. He provides it first, and back on the inside, and we're in for a thrilling finish, but really, Hull should have buried the St Helens side after that maiden try. They really should have gone for the one-pointer.
What a fantastic match, though, and Hull, well, a very important win for them. And Phil Clark, I think Saints just gave them too much start tonight. They just couldn't come back.
No, that coupled with the fact that they had no Furley or Shields. Those two guys, remember, one's the best at taking the ball forward, and Peter Shields, well, he provides more offloads of any player in the St Helens club. So really that second phase possession with which was so familiar that Saints love to attack from wasn't present tonight. And then the fact, I suppose, that Paul Scullthorpe was off the kicking duties really, and all together Hull deserved to win, but great performance. I've even developed a few more friends here now with a win like that.
Oh, good. Clarkie's got a Boulevard fan club. That's delightful to hear. Now then, this is the way the table looks, and confirmation that Hull have overtaken St Helens. They are now third, a point clear, but what a race is developing in that top 5. And just behind them, breathing down the necks, Castleford. And if London and Salford need any incentive for their match at the Valley tomorrow, it has been provided this weekend. Fantastic matches in the Super League we have seen on Sky Sports over the past 24 hours, and more to come tomorrow, Steve, with that State of Origin. But the Super League, it is coming of age.
It certainly is breathtaking, isn't it? And would you believe 4 to 5 weeks ago, a lot of the media said that it was all over? It's far from that, I can assure you.
It's well and truly far from that. But what a day we have for you tomorrow. Sunday at 10:30 in the morning. It's Sky Sports 1, that's the channel. The match, Queensland against New South Wales. Warrington's Alan Langer will be playing for the Maroons against the Blues. It's 1-1. It's a 3-match series. Tomorrow someone will be celebrating. And we see Hull again next Friday. They're up against the Bradford Bulls at Valley Parade. What a match that should be. Friday 7:30, Sky Sports 3. And we see the Saints again next Saturday at 6, also on Sky Sports 3. It's St Helens against Warrington, the Jekyll and Hyde team of the Super League. And of course, Alan Langer will be safely home from Australia by then. Don't forget to join us in the morning. Phil Clark, Chris Warren want your company from 10:30 for the State of Origin. From Steve and me, goodbye. Test of this St Helens defence. Grimaldi is over. Prescott, it goes inside Wellens. That was a weak attempt. That wasn't from Iro. Grimaldi again at dummy half. Cook is on his inside. There is Cook. There's 4 points. The scores will be level at half-time. So this is Paul Cook.